Good evening, I'm Adrian Arsenault.
And I'm Andrew Chang. Tonight, Ottawa buys rapid COVID tests for Canadians.
With results in about 20 minutes.
So when can you get one, and how accurate will it be?
We had 5-6 years of hard work destroyed in 5 months, 6 months.
Pleas for the government to fix its rent relief program.
People are getting tired of just not being with their families.
Just what is the public health advice for a safe Thanksgiving?
And the passing of a guitar hero. A look back at Eddie Van Halen. This is The National. COVID-19 cases are on the rise in most of the country, and many areas are poised on a knife's edge, trying to find just the right policy balance.
Yeah, that's right. Imposing necessary public health restrictions while causing the least amount of economic pain. Now, one thing the pandemic's hammered home is the benefit of large-scale testing. There's been a lot of confusion recently, even anger about testing capacity. But today, word that help may be coming. A newly approved rapid test is on order and on the way. Catherine Cullen explains.
With so many waiting for testing and results, rapid tests may sound like a dream come true. But this is only part of the solution, say officials.
I think every tool that we add to the toolbox in terms of options for testing takes pressure off a testing system in general.
The government announced today it's buying at least 8.5 million antigen tests, the Abbott PanBio. The test still has to be done by a healthcare professional, and it still involves a swab. But the key, it's fast.
The results are available in about 20 minutes, sometimes even less.
However, they aren't quite as reliable as the current method. Even the company itself warns the test cannot be used as the sole basis for treatment or other management decisions. Still, there are circumstances where it could be useful.
So if I'm going into a long-term care facility where I need a test to visit a loved one, I'm completely asymptomatic, I get a negative test there, that's probably good enough.
Federal officials are still sorting out the recommendations, but point to places where people might get tested regularly.
Workers in a remote a workplace site, or for example, in a very crowded facility like, let's say, a meatpacking facility.
The Conservatives argue rapid tests are coming to Canada much too slowly.
The tests that they're talking about today won't be in the hands of Canadians till the end of the year. They had months to do this, and they failed, Mr. Speaker.
Federal officials say this is the fourth rapid test they've purchased, though none are currently widely used. Officials are, though, negotiating for more.
So that if and when Health Canada approval occurs, we can quickly execute on those contracts and have the deliveries coming in quickly.
The real hope is for more advancements in testing.
I would love cheaper options available. I would love, saliva-based and home-based.
But, he says, the science just isn't there yet. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now, starting tomorrow, Nova Scotia will begin piloting a gargle test at a children's hospital.
It is more comfortable for children, and if the pilot is successful, we will soon be able to do this at all of our primary assessment centers.
The swish, gargle, and spit test originated in BC for school-aged kids. Something similar is also done in Ontario. Other provinces looking into it. It is supposed to be about 98% as accurate as samples collected through swabs.
The Thanksgiving holiday weekend is just days away, and many Canadians are trying to sort out how or even if they can gather with loved ones safely. As Karen Pauls tells us, the messaging from health authorities isn't helping.
It almost sounds like the Prime Minister is cancelling Thanksgiving.
But even if we can't gather this long weekend, we still have a chance to turn things around for Christmas.
But Canada's Chief Medical Health Officer has a more optimistic take.
Gathering indoors will be safest if they only include household members. Gatherings outdoors that involve people from outside our households will be safest if well spaced.
Then there's this confusing advice from Ontario's Premier.
When it comes to having everyone over, your aunts and uncles, hang off on the hugging and the kissing.
And later that same news conference?
You play it back. I said, stick within your household. Your household, that's what I said.
For Mary Lou Katita, it's hard to know what to do.
People are getting tired of just not being with their families. And so they just want to be together. But because of what's going on, the numbers are going up, it's mixed messages now.
She was thinking of inviting over a couple who's been part of their bubble, but instead,
it's just going to be us at home.
I get why people are frustrated with all this conflicting messaging.
this health law expert says the best way to cut through the static is to listen to your local public health authority.
Because context matters here. You know, the infection rate is different, the concerns are different for different regions.
But he says the bottom line is the same.
Let's err on the side of caution. You know, keep those groups very, very small, you know, close family members that you're already around, and think of creative ways to celebrate Thanksgiving.
That could mean FaceTiming your parents or going for a walk instead of eating a meal. Whatever it takes to keep exposures and infections down. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
So that's Thanksgiving, but what the kids really want to know about is Halloween. In BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, health officials say trick-or-treating is okay, just in small groups with everyone wearing masks. Those handing out candy should keep their distance when doling out the goods or just leave them in bags outside. The guidelines are similar in Atlantic Canada and parts of the north. Ontario's premier has said he'd like kids to skip trick-or-treating, but details are still to come. And Quebec has yet to release guidelines.
Yeah, and it's no surprise Quebec and Ontario are being a bit cagey about their recommendations. The majority of Canada's new COVID cases are in those two provinces. Across Canada, there were more than 2,300 new cases today. Ontario accounts for 548 of those, but Quebec saw the most significant jump with more than 1,300, along with an increase in deaths and hospitalizations.
Please don't test the hospital system. They're already, the nurses, the doctors, what they're asking you, what they're asking the Quebecers, please stay home.
Today was the 5th consecutive day Quebec reported more than 1,000 cases, and the province's health minister said more regions could become red zones in the coming days.
We are moving quickly to isolate those who may have become infected, and we will use all our resources available to us to slow the spread of this disease.
Health officials in New Brunswick are working to contain an outbreak at a Moncton nursing home where at least 2 elderly residents have tested positive for COVID-19. Investigators are now trying to determine how they got sick in the first place. Nearly 170 residents and staff are being tested for the virus.
Nearly a week after the previous commercial rent assistance program expired, Ottawa hasn't yet announced a new plan to help businesses. But as David Cochran heard, something new and improved cannot come soon enough.
So we were open 2.5 years, just over 2 years, and then the pandemic hit.
Anthony Bailey's taco place was taking off when COVID shut everything down.
We was either walk away or merge the businesses.
So he closed this location and moved around the corner, sacrificing the coffee shop he ran in that space to cut costs and save the taco business.
It's very stressful. We had 5-6 years of hard work destroyed in 5 months, 6 months.
Sales are down 90%, employees cut from 15 to just 2. Government-backed credit lines, the wage subsidy, and federal rent assistance have kept them going, but the rent program is over and Bailey's rent is past due.
I haven't paid. Ironically, I was just speaking with my landlord this morning, and the expectation is full rent for October.
Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland has tweeted help is coming and that she is firmly committed to supporting small businesses with their fixed costs, such as rent. But there's no firm timeline, and officials are still trying to fix the problems that undermined the first rental program. The uptake was too low because only landlords could apply, and they had to agree to take a loss. This time, sources say that tenants like Bailey will likely be able to apply directly for help, which is crucial. Ottawa is a COVID hotspot. More slowdowns, if not full shutdowns, seem likely.
If we don't get help, our businesses will fail. So it's very scary.
In a statement, Freeland says she is still finalizing a plan, working with businesses and other levels of government. Her office won't release any further details, but says she will have something more to announce soon, even though rent is already past due. David Cochran, CBC News, Ottawa.
The pandemic has hit Alberta's oil patch hard, and now the province is hoping to diversify into a new fuel, hydrogen. But as Carolyn Dunn reports, critics say the clean-burning fuel would be produced in a way that isn't clean at all.
Natural gas. The Alberta government is pitching it to light the way to a cleaner provincial resource sector and to fuel Canada's economy.
This is Canada's big play when it comes to the climate challenge.
Alberta is banking on its enormous reserves of natural gas as a cleaner than coal product for global export. And when natural gas is mixed with oxygen and combusted, it makes hydrogen, a clean fuel with no emissions.
Taking what we have in abundance and adapting it to meet the world's needs using cutting-edge technology. This is the path to diversification.
Hydrogen is viewed by some as the clean fuel of the future, able to fuel vehicles, even heat buildings with only water as a byproduct. Alberta's vision is to export hydrogen across North America, maybe the world, to get a slice of an industry expected to generate revenues in the trillions in the next few decades. Critics say the problem is how they'll make it. They'll be using polluting fossil fuels when they could be using renewables.
We should be actually moving into renewables and into batteries and those new technologies rather than trying to find new ways, new markets for oil and gas.
And for being a great partner for Alberta's energy future.
But for Emma Gammons of the resource industry-funded Energy Futures Lab, hydrogen from natural gas is a step in the right direction.
To be building on the assets that we already have while still working towards that low-emission economy that we know in terms of looking at global indicators is coming our way.
Now, to convince Ottawa and investors that natural gas and hydrogen are worth betting on. Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Calgary.
RCMP officers carried the casket of John Turner into Toronto St. Michael's Cathedral Basilica for the state funeral of Canada's 17th Prime Minister. But today's was a ceremony unlike any other. As Salima Shivji shows us, the service was designed with COVID-19 in mind.
A state funeral as we've never seen before, scaled back and muted. Guests arrived at staggered times to discourage mingling, even as they paid tribute to John Turner.
He was a very generous person. There's nobody who ever disliked him.
They were reminded of the rules, masks mandatory. So too, handing over contact information in case of an infection. Former Liberal Cabinet Minister Ralph Goodale didn't just bring a mask, but also a memento to honor his friend.
So I've kept that all these years.
Campaign gear from when Turner became leader of the Liberal Party of Canada.
He was just intensely loyal, and he was from a generation and a style of politics where he just believed intensely that the political process mattered.
My father was an athlete.
Inside, abundant space between mourners, and the Turner family keenly aware that some of his political friends and foes simply couldn't travel to pay their respects in person during a pandemic.
We know that you are here in spirit.
The many tributes to Canada's 17th Prime Minister made clear he may have spent a mere 79 days in office, but the longtime MP left his mark on political discourse.
John always noted that democracy doesn't happen by accident. Today, more than ever, we need more people like John.
He was proud to be known as a House of Commons man.
The House of Commons man honored on Parliament Hill, too. One of John Turner's favorite songs, playing him off for his final goodbye. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, Quebec Premier François Legault apologized today to the family of Joyce Echaquan. the mother of 7, was laid to rest in a private ceremony this afternoon. The Indigenous woman died shortly after filming the racist abuse she suffered in a Joliette hospital last week.
Comme Québécois, ça fait mal d'entendre ça.
Legault acknowledged the public service failed and he committed to making changes. However, he did stop short of recognizing systemic racism in the province as requested by the family. The St. Louis couple who waved their guns at hundreds of Black Lives Matter protesters in June were indicted today. Mark and Patricia McCloskey say they were frightened and merely exercising their Second Amendment rights. They face charges of unlawful use of a weapon and tampering with evidence.
Donald Trump spent a full day in the White House, still sick but far from silent. The truth about his condition isn't any clearer tonight, but Susan Ormerson shows us his message for Americans is crystal. COVID-19 doesn't matter, and he's still in charge.
Isolating, even in this home, was never going to work well with this president. Trump unleashing a torrent of tweets on an old theme, suggesting that the flu kills more and COVID's less deadly. Neither is true. Twitter issued a warning and Facebook pulled it. Last night at the golden hour, Trump's made-for-TV return from hospital included a made-for-TV video, which in these grainy images it appears he recorded with multiple takes standing on the Truman balcony.
Don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. We have
that enraged the widow of a Canadian actor who died of COVID.
So we saw what this disease can do, so guess what? We are afraid.
Trump's doctor reported again today the president is doing extremely well, but the White House grounds almost deserted as many staff and media stayed home. The press briefing room sprayed down. 4 staff have been infected, 3 journalists. To rely solely on rapid tests, as the White House does, is a mistake, says this doctor.
Too often people take a negative test as they don't have COVID, they do not need masking, and they do not have to change their behavior. That is not how these tests should be used.
Also today, concerns about a Gold Star reception a week ago. Almost all the Joint Chiefs of Staff, including Top General Mark Milley, now in quarantine after a Coast Guard admiral tested positive. And for the first day in 5, no sighting yet of the patient still here.
So, Susan, this outbreak at the White House still seems to be spreading in real time tonight. So what's the latest?
Again, now Stephen Miller, very close to the president, chief architect of some of his policies. He tested positive tonight. He's been self-isolating for a couple of days as a precaution, and now he's in quarantine. So think about it. You have the top military leaders in this country in a protective quarantine, and around Trump, about 20 people in his orbit who've tested positive and are infected in quarantine, and the president's still saying, don't let this virus dominate. It's 27 days till the election, Adrian. The average poll shows Biden's lead is growing, and the election is coming, and we don't know what's going to happen next.
All right, Susan, thanks very much. You'll be back a little later to tee up tomorrow night's vice presidential debate.
Rock star, guitar god for a generation, whatever you want to call him, Eddie Van Halen was a gifted musician, a virtuoso who couldn't read music. Yet he made it all look so easy. Van Halen died of cancer at age 65. Deanna Sumanek-Johnson looks back at his legacy.
In the era of brooding guitarist, Eddie Van Halen exuded joy, and behind the big smile, technical brilliance.
We all looked at each other and go, what is this? How is it getting those sounds?
That song, Eruption, best shows the tapping guitar technique Eddie Van Halen popularized, one of his many innovations.
Eddie was a student of the guitar in the most incredible ways, building and modifying his own guitars, and he was never seen without one.
Kim Mitchell met Van Halen twice.
All the time when he was talking to me, he had his guitar and he was warming up while he was talking to me. But he was engaged in our conversation. But I was sort of faded out because I was going, man, listen to that. He's just like glimmering up his fingers, and like, I could never do that in a million years.
With that talent came fame. While the lead singers came and went, Eddie and his brother Alex were the mainstays of the band that carried their name. And Eddie was the star, lending his talents to songs well outside his genre of hard rock.
I mean, you had your guitar stars before him, your Page and your Clapton, but I don't know, he brought it to new places that were unforeseen.
On the day of his death, he happened to be one more time on Guitar World magazine's cover, frozen in time in one of his long solos that will go on after him. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
And another passing in the music world. American singer-songwriter Johnny Nash has died at the age of 80.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way.
Yeah, Nash was, of course, known for that classic 70s hit, I Can See Clearly Now, sold over 1 million copies. Johnny Nash was one of the first non-Jamaican singers to record reggae music in Jamaica. His son told U.S. media he died at his home of natural causes. Johnny Nash is survived by his wife, daughter, and son.
As scientists race to develop a COVID-19 vaccine, a sobering warning about what could happen after they do so.
What that really means is that people will unnecessarily die.
Next on The National, why the actions of some countries could prolong the pandemic.
As Mike Pence and Kamala Harris prepare to face off, we look at the vice presidential matchup.
And an old Fleetwood Mac hit finds new life thanks to a man and his skateboard. We're back in 2 minutes.
With the third pick in the 2020 NHL Draft, the Ottawa Senators choose this player. The correct response? Who is Tim Stützle?
Well, there he is, Alex Trebek, a graduate from the University of Ottawa, announcing the Senators' third overall pick in style tonight at the NHL entry draft. The virtual event is just the latest in a season filled with change for the league. The NHL and its Players Association say they are now targeting January 1st as the start date of their next season.
I love that. That was good. The World Health Organization said today a COVID vaccine might be ready by the end of the year. The hope is to make it available in as many countries as possible in order to help end the pandemic. But Christine Burak shows us that some countries are much more focused on their own supply.
If any of the 9 leading COVID-19 vaccines prove effective, the world is in for a new, likely chaotic race.
I am proudly putting America first, just as you should be putting your countries first.
Vaccine nationalism is every country for itself. Wealthier nations buying up vaccine supplies, leaving little behind for the rest of the world.
This agreement secures up to 20 million doses for Canadians.
Scientists warn it's a dangerous path. Models predict that if rich countries monopolize COVID-19 vaccines instead of distributing them equally, it could cause twice as many deaths.
What that really means is that people will unnecessarily die.
Former White House health policy advisor Dr. Zeke Emanuel says sadly the U.S. is going it alone and buying up vaccine doses. But in some ways, so is Canada.
Canada's pre-bought, about 6 or 7 times its population. So we need to think through that. Is that, a kind of hoarding?
Experts say it's also driving up vaccine prices.
Personally, I think it's important for Canada to be responsible for its people.
Virologist Alison Kelvin is evaluating made-in-Canada vaccines at a prominent lab in Saskatoon. She wants Canadians vaccinated as quickly as possible, but
the pandemic isn't going to end if we just put Canada first.
The World Health Organization wants to allow all nations to quickly vaccinate certain groups that are at high risk of spreading the virus. About 90% of the world's countries have bought into the WHO's COVAX program, including Canada.
With COVID-19, no one is safe until everyone is safe.
But the program isn't fully funded yet, and not everyone's on board. China is still in negotiations, and experts say the U.S. would only join under new leadership.
You could take the view that your population might like you better if you were the one grabbing all the vaccine, but your population won't love you if the pandemic's going on and on and on.
Equitable distribution won't be easy, but global health experts insist vaccine nationalism is self-defeating, driving up prices, costing lives, and ultimately prolonging this pandemic. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, I want to bring in Dr. Isaac Bogosh, infectious diseases specialist, because Dr. Bogosh, equitable distribution, a good thing. I think we all get that. But how confident are you that Canada will have enough access to a vaccine, given all the hurdles involved? I mean, we don't even know which candidates will work.
Yeah, that's a really good point, in that many of these candidate vaccines might never make it to market. They just might not be successful in phase 3 clinical trials, or Health Canada might deem the risks to outweigh the benefits. But certainly that we have so many sticks in the fire, some of these are going to work out, and we certainly will be able to roll out probably 1 or even 2 successful vaccines, probably by early 2021. But of course, no one can be 100% certain in this era.
Logistically, how complicated is it to roll it out, and what do you expect that to look like in Canada?
Well, in Canada, I think there's going to be prioritization of higher risk groups, those who are at greater risk of having severe infection, or those people who are at greater risk of acquiring this infection. And of course, there's going to be challenges. Most of these vaccines are 2-dose series, so you have to bring people back about a month later for the second dose. And then there's cold chain issues. These vaccines, most of them have to be stored at very cold sub-zero temperatures. So there certainly are going to be logistical challenges associated with it, but nothing that we can't take care of in Canada.
And I got to close with a crystal ball question. What's the timeline? I mean, I want to ask you this question every time I get a chance to talk to you.
In all fairness, anything's up in the air, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see vaccine rollout in Canada in the very, very early parts of 2021. But of course, anything can happen, so I don't really know. But I'd be optimistic for February, but that's just a guess.
All right, Dr. Bogosh, good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And of course, CBC News is tracking all of the latest developments on how close we are to a vaccine. Our vaccine tracker includes updates on research and testing in Canada and globally. Just search for CBC News Vaccine Tracker.
Well, tomorrow night is debate night again in the United States, a vice presidential showdown. Mike Pence and Kamala Harris will face off. We look at how and why this suddenly matters so much more for both presidential tickets.
And later, how one man in Idaho helped an old Fleetwood Mac hit return to the charts decades later.
There is so much at stake, but there is so much we can do.
Stakes in this election have never been higher. The choice has never been clearer.
Well, after all that has happened, Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic Party challenger Kamala Harris will be there in Utah, apart but indoors, debating loudly for 90 minutes. And even if it doesn't infect the candidates as an issue, the coronavirus will be unavoidable in that room tomorrow night. This obviously is not a normal election, and this won't be a normal vice presidential debate. Pence and Harris will be vitally important to their respective tickets on Election Day, and as Susan Ormiston tells us, voters know it.
Let the truth of your kingdom reign in us.
In good hands, evangelical Christians pray for their country, with the certainty it can only be saved by God, Trump, and his loyal disciple, Vice President Pence.
I love Mike Pence. Totally different personalities, for sure, but I think that Trump is God's man for right now, and I would love it if Mike Pence is God's man next time.
In him, our hearts rejoice. On the very day coronavirus was spreading like weeds in the White House Rose Garden, 8 blocks away, thousands of Christians crowded together on the National Mall. Few masks, plenty of faith. Pence has brought to the ticket a powerful bloc, willing to forgive Trump's sins to get what they want through Pence.
Well, he loves the Lord. And I think any man or woman that loves the Lord is always a good candidate. Because if they love God, they're not going to kill babies. They're not going to put two men together and two women together in marriage. And they're going to be for prayer in our schools and everything else.
So in the lead up to the most important VP debate in decades, Pence is there praising his boss and their faith.
And President Donald Trump has observed many times that America is a nation of believers. Good afternoon, everyone.
Mike Pence, 61, a former Midwest governor, takes the stage tomorrow against his complete opposite.
I need you to make sure your adults vote, okay? Okay. They really do things.
Kamala Harris, a California Democrat, the first black and South Asian woman on a presidential ticket, a former prosecutor with a sharp attack. Senator Harris is known for pointed questioning.
Can you think of any laws that give the government the power to make decisions about the male body?
I'm not thinking of any right now.
We feel very sorry for Vice President Pence because he has to debate you. We're not sure how he's going to hold up because we have seen you, young lady, in action.
Responsibility.
She wanted to be president and ran for it,
And I'm prepared to fight, and I know how to fight.
but dropped out early.
Kamala, floor is yours.
Reappearing as the nominee, many expect a bid for the top job next time.
I think it's quite transparent on her part that she does see herself as the successor. I think that the Biden campaign is very sensitive about the idea that he might be giving the impression that, in fact, this will be the Harris administration.
With Joe Biden 77 and Donald Trump 74, part of the calculation, their VPs could be next up.
So I don't necessarily think you have that level of rank ambitiousness that, you see with Kamala Harris. That's not Mike Pence's style.
But Harris brings what Pence never can, says Teresa Dudley, an educator and head of a local teachers union.
She knows what it's like to be black. There is a difference in how people are treated. And she sees that, she knows that, she's very well aware of that. And she knows there are different Americas. Having that lens is important when we have someone in the White House right now who refuses to reject white supremacists in our country.
Dudley's true blue, eager for the debate against Pence, whom she says she can't trust.
I have to think he has to be embarrassed by a lot of the president's behavior. And for him to defend that publicly, he's going to have to tell a whole lot of lies.
Everybody knows he's a liar.
After last week's bruising debate, Harris versus Pence is a reset.
We have to be very careful because women get tagged as being too much of a barracuda or to being too sharp. I think she's going to be just fine.
I think that he needs to do what he does best, which is show resolve, experience, charm, and stability.
This VP debate like no other, with 12 feet and a lot more separating these two as America gets ready for another showdown.
Okay, Susan, so given the COVID situation at the White House just behind you there, surely there are going to be safety precautions at tomorrow's debate.
You bet. As with everything, now plexiglass is part of the politics. The Harris team wants partitions. The Pence team says, quote, if she wants to surround herself with a fortress, have at it. We don't. They are both aware of the optics of this and that what happens tomorrow night could set a precedent for the next presidential debate, which is still scheduled for Florida next week. Trump said today that he'll be there. Biden said it should only go ahead if the president has no more virus.
All right, Susan, thanks very much. And we will have full coverage and analysis throughout the evening tomorrow on The National. Our U.S. political panel will be back to assess the week that was and the importance of the vice presidential debate.
This week was a roller coaster.
One word would be disastrous.
Chaos and limitless irresponsibility.
The stakes for the VP debate have become higher in the last week.
Who is going to be a heartbeat away from the presidency matters, and it matters more now in the midst of a global health pandemic than it ever has before.
This vice presidential debate is almost certainly a preview of what's coming up in 2024.
So watch for our U.S. political panel. That is tomorrow night on The National.
But next, a different perspective on those debates and the U.S. election from a country that meddled in the last one.
It's like a theater for us.
We visit a popular Russian state TV show and ask Russians themselves to weigh in on the race for the White House. We know Canadians are engaged with the U.S. presidential campaign. In Russia, state TV is telling people the election doesn't matter because America is a fading superpower. But as our Moscow correspondent Chris Brown found, many Russians aren't so sure.
More Russians find out what's happening in the world by watching state TV programs than any other news source. And for 3 million viewers every Sunday night means an appointment with Dmitry Kiselov, one of Russia's best Kremlin-connected TV hosts. We were invited to watch and to talk about the messages Russians are getting about the U.S. election. On that ugly debate, people felt a distaste for what they saw. And Trump's COVID diagnosis? He's like the Terminator, ready for combat. Still, state TV is a lot less bullish on Trump now than it once was. Kiselov says Russia really doesn't care who wins.
It's like a theater for us. Russia is independent state, and it means nothing for us, Biden or Trump.
We're going to a great party.
Trump's relationship with Russia has helped define his presidency. Congress concluded the Kremlin meddled to try to get him elected. And how do you explain his strikingly deferential relationship to Vladimir Putin? Russian media has had plenty of fun with all of that. A late-night talk show showed Trump with a dog tag that says, "My name is Donald. If I get lost, call the Kremlin." And someone at English language RT dreamed up this skit.
It was a very nice offer from President Putin.
It shows a defeated Trump forced to take Putin up on his offer for a job as a host for RT.
Mr. Donald Trump.
Biden says Trump is Putin's puppet. Is he?
Это внутриамериканские игры. Трамп обложил Россию санкциями, как ни один другой американский президент. Трамп не провел с Путиным ни одной полноформатной встречи.
Russia, of course, doesn't have election debates where the candidates for president insult each other. No one would even get to share a stage with Vladimir Putin.
Нам забавно просто на это смотреть, потому что все это представляется очень смешным. Деградация Соединенных Штатов, она продолжается десятилетия. И за эти десятилетия вот сейчас совершенно очевидно, что Соединенные Штаты полностью утратили какое-либо, так сказать, моральное лидерство.
The idea that the U.S. doesn't matter anymore is more of a Kremlin fantasy than the reality, and many Russians clearly know otherwise. A poll in January suggested roughly half of Russians hold positive views of the U.S. We got another perspective from Andrei Kortunov with Russia's Institute for International Affairs.
I wouldn't just discard the United States. It is important. It is important for Russia. Many here in Moscow think that a weak United States is good for Russia. I disagree. I think a weak United States is less predictable, is less strategic. I'm afraid that Joe Biden, if elected, will be yet another weak U.S. president.
Many Russians obviously are following the election and think it matters. We spoke to some of them outside that most American of institutions, McDonald's.
Я, кстати, слушала интервью Мэрил Стрип. Это моя любимая актриса. И она очень ясные и простые вещи сказала и свое мнение о нем. И я с ним согласна совершенно. Мне стыдно иметь такого президента. Вот это самое главное. Мне стыдно.
Я помню то, что Трамп в начале своей карьеры хотел выстроить позитивные отношения вместе с Россией, но потом, ну как там, советовали, я точно не помню, его заткнули, и он не смог выполнить своих обещаний, и Америке пришлось наложить санкции на Россию, ну и мы, грубо говоря, оказались в шопе.
Вот он, новый американский...
For Russian state media, though, the U.S. election has been a gift. Here's the new American way of life: hate, violence, aggression, the backdrop to the election campaign.
Президентское кресло. Мы по очень многим параметрам обменялись местами. Поэтому, когда мы обменялись местами, нам все равно предлагают брать пример с Америки. Но какой смысл? Мы прекрасно себя чувствуем.
The election has served as a giant advertisement to sell Russians that their lives under Vladimir Putin are infinitely better than Americans have it under Donald Trump or any president. Chris Brown, CBC News, Moscow.
Next, Fleetwood Mac returns to the charts thanks to an unlikely star. The TikTok hitmaker right after the break.
I'm Josh Block. Tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, Annamie Paul, Canada's new Green leader, on what sets her vision for the party and country apart. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
A hit song from Fleetwood Mac is back on the charts more than 4 decades after its initial release, and all it took was a 20-second video shared on the social media app TikTok that went viral. And just like that, Eli Glasner tells us a new generation is discovering a classic.
This is how it started: a skate in the sun, some tunes, and some juice. Nathan Apodaca, aka Dogface208, didn't know it, but he'd created a viral sensation. Soon this Mexican indigenous Idaho factory worker was inspiring an army of imitators. Whether you're a hunter in the north, a political party leader, just about anyone can enjoy the vibe. And as the vibe and views grew, Fleetwood Mac's 1977 song Dreams jumped back on the music charts. Last week, Dreams hit a new record, over 8 million streams in 1 week, leading Mick Fleetwood himself to join TikTok with a post that reads, "Dreams and Cranberry just hits different." This Canadian film director couldn't resist making his own version.
3, 2, 1, action.
Millions follow him for red carpet footage, but what he loves about TikTok is how it blasts barriers.
Nobody cares how old anybody is or like what their background is, what they look like, what they're into. If you make a fun, captivating video, people are gonna love it and people are gonna share it.
People like Toronto TikToker Lauren Moore.
You didn't know that song when you first heard it.
I heard it, I was like, this isn't vibe.
She's part of a generation getting their music from TikTok.
I find all my music through social media apps, what's playing in the background of videos, what's getting popular. That's how I find music. So the older songs, I only know them because of social media.
Organic way of...
It's a power the music industry is paying attention to.
Fleetwood Mac hits just as hard if you're 16 today as if you were 16 in the 70s. And there's a universality to that experience that really binds people, and I think people are really responding to, especially at a time where we're all atomized, all in our own filter bubbles.
Connecting generations with a classic tune and mood. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
Next on The National, the challenge of climbing the grouse grind and why a BC man is doing it this way. Next in our moment. Leo Samarelli was injured in 2017, resulting in paralysis in his legs and hips. But that's clearly not stopping him. He decided to take on the grouse grind in Vancouver, climbing the mountain with only his hands as a way to raise money and awareness. It is our moment.
It was the grouse grind. It's a famous little trek up Grouse Mountain. I'm actually a T89 paraplegic, so I can't use my legs or my hips or anything like that. So my brother and my team were able to hold my legs up from just underneath the knee there while I walked on my hands all the way up there. I call them an A-team. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do this thing.
Stay center.
I'm always into challenging myself, also to raise awareness for people with disabilities and just anyone in general. I was tested every step of the way, and it shows people that anything is possible. Anything is possible for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, this is incredible. So if you don't live in Vancouver, if you haven't done the grind, it is nearly 3 kilometers straight up Grouse Mountain.
You've done it lots, right?
Well, when I used to live there, it would take me about 4 or 5 days, right? But it's called Mother Nature's Stairmaster, and he is an incredible athlete.
Yeah, we both know firsthand how hard it is. It is a tough climb, but apparently he had to study all kinds of different ways so that the load wouldn't be on his shoulders, different ways of climbing it, because it took 6 hours. He studied animals, all that kind of thing. Amazing effort. That's The National for this October 6th. Have a great night.
Good night.